Hello, this is Dr. Janice Seto. I'm your instructor in this course of Media Arts, and it's July 2015 here in Subang Jaya, Malaysia. And it's Taylor's College CPU program, the Canadian Pre-University courses, and I'm glad that you're joining me. This is my second, this is the same PowerPoint, but it's the second part because I couldn't fit it in to the very beginning. So let me just, let's go. And actually, maybe I'll just go straight to the where we left off. Well, so as you can see, what we've been doing is we've been talking about the principles of design. And as you can see from this screen, remember, you want a clear, consistent message that's not clumsy. And so that's where unity comes in. And then the other principles of design, you want to have nice, you pay attention to balance. I would say you have to be balanced, but if you're not balanced, there has to be a good reason that's consistent to the message. Pay attention to what you're emphasizing, movement, directing the eye, using pattern, what is it that you want to repeat, look at proportion, and then rhythm, and then we ended up with variety, and we ended up with this screenshot of a very famous scene in Godfather Part 2, which won quite a few Oscars, and it was the first sequel to follow a Best Picture. Godfather Part 1 was 1972, and then Godfather Part 2 in 2 years later in 74. So what we've been concentrating on is principles of design as it relates to images. But these days, images are not static. Most of the time, images move. And so moving images, motion pictures, so the film industry, not just film, video, gaming. So that adds another layer of design that you need to be aware of. Because, well, as you can see here, cinematography is how it looks. And so translating a message to a visual image that moves, that's the role of the cinematographer. You don't have to be a great cinematographer, but you want to know how to work with somebody who is, lighting the story that you're working with, and how it's hoping to evoke emotions. Now remember, emotions are tension. If it's boring, that means your audience is indifferent. And being indifferent, that's not what you really want. It's a waste of your time to look meh. People can just look at, a piece of paper, a white piece of paper, an A4 paper, and it's meh. Anyways, so what it looks like is, and how the audience feels, it may drive the story forward or the motivation to act. And there's a lot of things that can be done just by the look. All right, so anyways, lighting the images, lighting the elements in the image. So basically it's the image plus the lighting together. And a cinematographer is sometimes known as the camera guy. Because this person knows the language of, as I say, the size. And this is where proportion comes in. Angles, movements, and focus. So let's take a look. This is from a very, very, very well-known movie, The Third Man. It includes probably the most famous introduction of a character in film, and The Third Man. So as you can see, already you know there's something going on. There's something probably tense. Look at his body language. Look at the way it's shot. He's right in the center of things. You can't help but notice. And so the audience's eye is drawn. There's something going on, and you want to stick around and find out what's going to happen. There's a light. The light's coming towards him. What will happen? Well, stick around. So first thing is in motion pictures. I think cinematography is very, very important. Okay. Now, here's another one. This is a film called Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And I'm showing you the screenshot from, I think this is about a third of the way through the picture. And, well, you'll have to watch the picture yourself. It's a great movie. It revived the whole Star Trek I guess I don't call it this, all the sequels. So it really reinvigorated the franchise, yes. Okay. And this whole thing is, not only it's how it's lit and the elements, production design is how they've worked with each element. So, for example, the whole set, notice that the set is very red. There is a deliberate reason why it's very red. So, the lighting is red, but notice the people are wearing red. And so, costuming. Notice how formal and military these costumes are by the protagonist here in the foreground. The hair is very well, well kept. Probably standard, probably the rule books. Compared to these guys, their hair's all over the place. It looks like they're wearing fur. So notice the contrast. This is very, very well lit. It's very, very clear. This is more muted and fuzzy. Why? Well, watch the movie, you'll find out. So costuming, hair, and makeup, production and design, very important to conveying a message. This is all what we call in motion pictures. This is all behind the scenes. They're very important. And in the world of Oscars, this is all technical stuff. And people won technical Oscars. The technical Oscars are not usually screened. They're not the ones that people have the red carpet on. Very well respected in the industry. Industrial Light and Magic, which is formed by George Lucas, because he couldn't find anybody to really do what he wanted to do for basically the Star Wars series. So he started this production company which specializes in CGI. All right, so what we first saw was cinematography, now production design, and now you're saying, what's that? Now, if this was a still, you'd say, oh, well, so there's emphasis. The rest of this is very muted and sort of blue-gray. This is green. What's going on? It's off balance. Well, I can't show you any of this, but this is sound design. And you've got to watch the movie Alien. It's master in technical. It's a great story too, but the sound is something else, and the emotions that come from the sound. And it's not just so much the sound you hear; it's the sound you don't hear. So I advise you, if you want to, that's a really, really good movie. Check out Alien. Okay, so the audio environment, and this does engage the audience. So a lot of times, movies and gaming. The sound design, remember I talked earlier about space. Western movies like to fill up space, whether it's a visual images, fill up the space of a white piece of paper, or they fill up, the audio. One of the things that I really don't like, and that's why I'm doing this video away from donuts, is there's noise in the background. They're always trying to stimulate us to, buy something or feel a certain way, or get on board a certain message. Sometimes you want to be left alone, and silence is a good thing. It gives you space to fill in the blanks. So, that's my rant about the use and the respect for something that's not there. And if it's not there, however, it's still very meaningful. All right, so I want to end this with Ang Lee, the Oscar winner. Remember, I told you he won 2 Oscars for directing. One of them is Brokeback Mountain, one of them is Life of Pi, which are really, really different. Life of Pi, a lot of CGI. I mean, there's a tiger in a boat with this young man. Working with CGI is something else. They say that a director, the worst things the director has to work with, the most problematic, are children and animals. And with CGI, I only had a lot on his plate. Speaking of on his plate, this is a great photo. It was taken after he won his 2nd Oscar. His first Oscar was for Brokeback Mountain, which in the story it takes place in Wyoming, but was actually filmed in near the Rocky Mountains of Canada. And I know you're saying Canada's a cool place and it's cold, but that's a beautiful part of Canada. I urge you, if you have the opportunity to get out there, go see it. If it's too far away and you only go to New Zealand, go to the South Island, you'll have a glimpse of what the Rocky Mountains are like in Canada and the United States. When I mean a glimpse, when I was in New Zealand, and they said, ladies and gentlemen, please look out the left side of your window. We're flying over the magnificent mountains of the South Island. So I'm looking, so man, they are beautiful. And then the next thing I know, like 10 minutes later, it said, we just passed those mountains. In Canada, those mountains go on for a long period of time. It's more than 10 minutes. So if you want a glimpse, go to New Zealand. If you want to see them for the real thing, come over to Canada. Our dollar's down. If you're in accounting, you know what that means. So, anyways, please put that on your list of things to do. Thank you very much for your attention to this sort of brief overview of design in media arts. Take care.